Today in Automation and BeamNG.drive, we are making a competitor to BeamNG.drive's Gavril Roamer. And this is actually something I've done before. I've made a competitor to one of BeamNG.drive's vehicles before. That was the Ibishu Covet. I'll link that video in the description. Anyways, today we're making, once again, a competitor to one of BeamNG.drive's vehicles. So that's going to be pretty cool, especially because we'll actually be able to test out and compare the two cars, the competitors. So that's going to be pretty fun. Now, one really cool thing about BeamNG.drive's vehicles is the fact that there's a bunch of different configs. So we're going to be making around 5 different configs of this to match different configs that are also in BeamNG.drive's base game. Anyways, just gonna go steel body on frame, steel front longitudinal, probably expected stuff here, right? And basically, so it's a competitor, and now there are basically some rules I kind of set for that, and that is that it needs to be about the same weight, have about the same power, the same type of engine, the same wheelbase, as well as the same cost, which is probably one of the most important ones, right? Anyways, we're going to be giving this thing a 90-degree V8. And then probably just fully cast iron, right? That makes sense. Going to be 5.5 liter. So maybe if we increase that to 90, you want to have a larger stroke. So let's see how much we can increase that until it becomes a 5.5 liter. That's a little bit too far, and that is a 5.5 liter right there. Okay, I had the year set incorrectly. Anyways, we're just gonna go push rod, and as I said, fully cast iron. Then probably just cast here as well. Just cast, give it an harmonic dampener because it's otherwise gonna collapse. We'll touch that stuff later. This one's gonna be naturally aspirated. We're also gonna be making a Roadsport version, which is also in the base BeamNG.drive game, and that one is actually gonna have a turbocharger. So mechanical fuel injection, and then just single, standard low, probably something like that, and then just increase the size to maximum. Yeah. Well, I think it'd be fair if we run it on low quality, and then just give it a rich fuel mixture. That kind of makes sense in my head. Cast mid, and I think I'll just leave it at a single exhaust, to be honest. Probably gonna really need to increase the size of that. Just two-way, and then maybe reverse flow and none. I think that's pretty decent. There we go. This is looking pretty good. This is, I think, close to something what we want to have. I'm not sure exactly how much horsepower it has anymore. Actually, I have that written down right here. So it has 230 horsepower and 410 newton meters of torque. Looking at this, that is literally just about this. Just gonna tune it a little bit, of course, because currently it's totally untuned. So we gotta change that. Right? Is this the body we want? It probably is. It's 2.8 meter wheelbase, so it's pretty large. And there's also actually one we're gonna make him with an extended wheelbase. Anyways, longitudinal 4x4, because that's what it is. It's gonna be an automatic 4-speed. At least this model is, right? And then we're gonna make this around 240 kilometers per hour. Oh, and it actually, yeah, it is. Okay, so also what we're gonna be doing, so this video doesn't take 2 hours, is spacing up all the way. Is just so that we're gonna basically be doing the base model mainly. You're also gonna be seeing the time lapse of the base model, and then once we've done that, you'll also get to see, of course, the few other trims I made, and we'll use those in BeamNG.drive as well. But it's just going to be mainly base model focused, because otherwise the video is just going to take forever. So we go all-terrain tires. I don't feel like going chunky off-road on this. I think all-terrain or utility makes sense, but I feel like utility just be... Nah, we could go utility, but if the cost is too high, we'll probably go utility. These are also pretty wide. Ideally, we go for square tires, because that way it won't oversteer as much. We can probably... Actually, I think those are pretty good size. Maybe increase the rims a little bit there. They're just a touch small. Just gonna go solid disc 6 pistons or 4 pistons, because we're in 1992. It was supposed to be 1994. I changed that for the engine as well, but it was apparently incorrect here too. Okay, so that's what I wanted to do. And these are probably going to need to be gigantic. This thing's going to be pretty heavy. It's completely made out of steel, right? Change the forces later as well. However, probably want to put this down. We just want to have nice comfortable brakes there. Actually, we'll give it an off-road skid tray. No seats in the rear for this one. Basic interior, and we'll give it a basic cassette player as well. No need for a CD in this simple base model. Power steering is probably gonna, yeah, hydraulic ball. No ABS, I think. Basic 90s safety. We'll give it. Ooh, we could give it hydropneumatic. Actually, not the base model here. So we'll go standard probably. 22 passive sway bars, because otherwise it's gonna get expensive. There we go. The square tires are working out pretty well, as you can see by that graph right there. Pretty nice suspension tune here. There we go, looking pretty good. This is yeah, that's pretty nice. Wow, it seems to be settled in right there. Anyways, we're basically just gonna design this now. I really hope you guys enjoyed that time-lapse. This is the Charvel Discovery. This is the base model right here. It's a bit more yellow than the base model in BeamNG.drive, I believe. I think that one is a bit more white. Anyways, as you can see, we got a front grille here. This, which I'm pretty proud of, put quite a lot of effort into that. Then just that continuing along the sides, and then a pretty simplistic back design as well. As you can see, we do actually have an interior. The interior isn't really detailed. I don't like making interiors. I've actually recently started doing it again, and I basically just decided to, I'll make an interior. It doesn't look good from the inside, but from the outside, it actually looks like we have an interior, which is, for me, the most important, I suppose. So basically, we have 238 horsepower right here, which is a little bit more. However, I think we have less torque. So yeah, we have a slightly less torque. So that's fine. And then for the rest, we can go here as well. There we go. Fuel economy is pretty terrible, but the base model one also isn't that fuel economic. So we cost 10,300, which is the exact same as the base model Gavril Roamer. So that's that's pretty cool. Got the same costs there. It's really hard to get costs down that low in automation here. Anyways, what else we could talk about? The weight, I suppose. So the weight is the is just about the exact same. I think it's slightly lighter as well, and there's not much I could do about that. Like, we have steel stuff everywhere, and basically, if I want to make it heavier, it's gonna cost a little bit more. So yeah, we're slightly heavier, but that is pretty fine. Top speed's around the same, and the 0 to 60 should be just about the same as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, usually at the end of a clip like that, I'll say let's head into BeamNG.drive, but that's not actually what we're doing right now. We're going to be looking at the other models as well, not in too much detail, but you know, just a little bit. So this is a lower end model, not with a V8, but with an inline 6. Just, you know, slightly less of everything, slightly less power, less quality. As you can see, it is cheaper as well. Fuel economy is worse. So basically just all that stuff, and it's gray, it's a boring color, and it's overall just cheaper. Here we have the off-road version, which is a pretty nice green. Got some black plastic bumpers and stuff like that. Pretty aggressive front bumper there as well. It has a snorkel and something a bit of a roof rack. As you can see, it has more ground clearance, chunkier and wider tires. As you can see, it has the same engine as the base model. It is slightly heavier, actually. I believe this one is also a manual instead of an automatic. Then the fourth one we have right here is, this one's basically literally the exact same as the base model, except for the fact that it is a longer wheelbase by 30 centimeters, which is like 12 inches, I think, maybe. Don't take my word on that. And basically, that's literally it. It's a more luxurious model as well. So it has seats in the back, which are now folded down there, so you can't see it that well. So it is seats in the back as well. So it has a third row, and it also has a better quality interior and stuff like that. So it's also slightly heavier, of course. And it doesn't have the same engine. Okay, that confused me. I actually put the wrong engine inside of this thing. Now it does have the same horsepower. And finally, here we have a Roadsport version as well. This one has 70 more horsepower than the base version. It has the exact same engine, except for the fact that this one it's turbocharged. Basically got more exhausts. It's actually got a lower red line due to the turbo. So yeah, basically that slightly worse weight distribution as well. It is slightly lighter due to it having a mainly lighter interior. As you can see, it has way less ground clearance and also much stiffer suspension tuning to come with that. It is also all-wheel drive and a manual 5-speed. Here we are in BeamNG.drive, and this plant is very shaky. Okay, anyways, basically here we have the my Gavril Roamer, which was the something Discovery and minor fender bender. Don't mind that. The Charvel Discovery versus the Gavril Roamer. As you can see, we can put them next to each other right here. Apparently mine is just a slight bit longer. Over the wheelbase, as you can see, is the same. Same height as well. So that's pretty good. Our windows seem to have come through really transparent for some reason. So that's weird, I guess. But oh well. We're just going to take both of these for a quick spin right here. And then we'll compare the two. So mine here definitely has a bit of some softer suspension tuning. And it doesn't actually have ABS. I didn't realize that the BeamNG one did have ABS. But you know, that's alright. It wasn't really within our budget to have ABS on this thing anyways. But that's fine. So there we go. Then let's switch right here. And now this one, I feel like the acceleration is a bit slower. However, it definitely does drive nicer. Understeer on this one is, I feel, a bit more prominent too. But as you can see, it does actually have ABS. So that, yeah, understeer on this one is, I feel, definitely more prominent. We've even managed to get ourselves a flat tire there somehow. Which, okay. Yeah, then we are definitely going to start understeering if we don't even have a tire. That's fine though. So, here we have the two of these. We're going to be racing them on the automation test track later. However, first off, we're going to be looking at the other variants as well. Here we have the off-road model of the Gavril Roamer. You know, just the regular one inside of BeamNG.drive. And we're just going to be driving that up this hill if we can. Trying to minimize wheel spin here. You know, just doing the off-road tests. And then we'll do the same thing with the other model as well. Wheel spin is definitely an issue here. We also, surprisingly enough, don't have lockable axles. Which we do actually have on mine. So, I guess that's cool or something. Anyways, this almost feels like I'm drifting. The grip seems to be pretty minimal for the fact that this is literally an off-road spec car. But that's all right. Suspension here is nicely tuned. And wow, yeah, this thing definitely doesn't feel like it has a lot of grip. Anyways, I didn't know that that car was still there. We basically have this one now, which is my off-road spec. It's less lifted. It feels less lifted than the other one, and it also has larger tires though, so maybe that's just the difference in this case. Anyways, we can go ahead and drive this thing. So as you can see, it is definitely has more ground clearance than the other models. Has a snorkel too and stuff, and a little bit of a roof rack, I suppose. Not as advanced as the other one though. Basically, this one seems to have a lot more traction, especially for the fact that we are actually going downhill as well. Now, obviously, downhill is faster and stuff. Now, these actually both have the same engine of the base model of each variant, which means that they do understeer more, which is something I can especially tell in this base version of mine, because they're both quite a bit heavier, and they both have the same engine, and you know, the wheels are a little wider, but they definitely understeer is definitely a bit of a bigger issue in these. We've arrived on the drag strip with the V8 Roadsport model of BeamNG.drive's Gavril Roamer right here. So the only thing that can really mess this up are my gear shifts, which of course aren't the best. And not gonna lie, I kind of expected this thing to be faster. To be honest, we can probably beat this. This is a V8 Roadsport model with 300 horsepower, turbo tuned. So we could probably beat that. Or well, I really hope I do at least. This thing still feels taller than the other Roadsport model, and it's not actually that much faster, I think. What is this? Wow, dude, that is insanely quick right there. However, we did beat it, as you can see. And here we are on the automation test track with, as you can see, the Gavril Roamer. This is just the base model, and we're going to be racing this against my own base model. Yeah, these are definitely not the types of vehicles you would expect to find on a track like this. However, I try and race all my cars here, so we're going to do the same for this again. And I think that this will be the ultimate factor that will determine which one of the two vehicles ended up being better. We won the drag race, but only slightly. And now I feel like we are slightly faster. However, the BeamNG one does have ABS, which is something I didn't necessarily account for. So we'll have to see how that plays out, of course. So yeah, anyways, basically this is also going to be the last thing we're doing in this video. So you might have noticed that that means we are skipping the inline 6 model, which was the lower end model, as well as the luxury model. Luxury model was exact same as the base model, just a different color, elongated wheelbase, and more seats in the back basically, and higher quality interior as well. And basically that was kind of basic, and it was cool to make those models, but we don't need to do, I don't feel like we need to do anything special with them necessarily. You can still download those, however, together with all the other configurations of this vehicle I've made through my Discord server actually. There you can join my Discord server, link in the description, and through my Discord server you can find download links to every single car I've ever made on this channel, including every configuration as well. So that little detour was unfortunate, but oh well. If it's the exact same time, like if both models get the exact same time, then we'll basically know that the Gavril Roamer won. However, no run is perfect, is it? So let's pull off a drift there, which yeah, we're driving a 1992 SUV. We can't really do that. Okay. Anyways, I'm just gonna finish this lap right here. Looks like the sub 3 minute is playing hard to get. We're gonna get around a 3:10, which is of course a terrible time, but you know, look at what we're driving, right? Let's grab our own right here model and see if we can beat it. Right off the bat, we feel a lot faster, which is kind of weird because we do just have the same horsepower and stuff. The lack of ABS, however, might screw us over, as well as the fact that BeamNG base game cars obviously have way better suspension tuning and stuff, because automation can be wacky with that sometimes. Also, with this version, I seem to be experiencing a lot more issues with the fact that we don't actually have a limited slip differential, which is something I did totally not actually notice in the base model, well, in BeamNG.drive's base model, which almost makes me feel like that did actually have an LSD. Don't worry guys, I messed up this turn for my model as well, kind of crashed into the wall. Luckily I didn't actually mess up the steering, and I managed to save it quite decently actually. And here we are approaching the last turn, which I incredibly managed to stay on the asphalt. Anyways, as you can see, we definitely did beat it by around 20 seconds or so. So that wasn't even really close. Oh well, still one of the worst times on here. We beat the Conquest Brick, which was the lightest car I ever made. I'm surprised that that didn't have a slower time. Oh well. Those are the times, I suppose. You know, so I guess that means that we ultimately took the W in this one, which I guess is deserved, because that's something we didn't do last time. Anyways, let me know if you would like to see me create a competitor to another one of BeamNG.drive's cars in the future, and if so, what one. But for right now, thank you ever so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye bye.